Okay, we are good to go from my perspective. Thank you, Chair. And it is 9:30 on the dot.
Perfect. And then I will call to order this previous meeting for March 18th. And I'd like to recognize that collectively we are on the unceded territory of the Lillooet Nation. I'd like to add a quick item of business to late business at number 8. Other than that, are there any other amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Sorry, Chair. Can you just let us know what that is so I can
Sure.
add it in?
It'll be a PDIF request for cultural signage on the Friendship Trail.
Thank you.
And then can I get a motion with regards to ministerial order number M192? Moved by Director Zant, second by Director Mack. All in favor, opposed? Motion carries. Anybody want to pull anything out of the consent agenda? Moved as presented.
Moved as presented.
Director Zant, seconded by Director Mack. Any opposed? Motion carries. Any business arising from the minutes? See none, we'll get right into the budget session. I'm assuming Ms. LaFrance is joining us.
She is, and I don't see Ms. Martin in the, oh, Ms. Martin just joined us in the waiting room, so I've let them both in. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. We are ready for you, and you'd like to take us through final draft of the budget.
May I make a comment? Sorry, Director Mack, let me know when you want, I don't know if you want it shared now or how you want to, Director Mack asked if I could share my screen for the budget because he doesn't have be able to see it. So do you want it up now or when would you like that up? Oh, I can't hear you.
Yeah, now please. Thanks.
Hang tight.
So I will turn it over to Ms. Martin for the rec budget.
Morning. I'm just pulling up the SLRD agenda as well. All right, so this marks the third review of the 2021 rec budget. We have updated the values to December 31st and have closed the recreation year. Though I must say that we go into audit next week and may see some additional adjustments that we can make up for next year. So in the updated budget, we've allocated the $40,000 management allocation. We've allocated the utilities for the PCC and the water park. We've allocated the interest earned on reserved at 0.55%, which is our COVID interest rate. And just to note that there is the reversal of the 2019 gain on the capital asset recorded for the rec truck transfer. That's the $20,000 reversal. We also have the COVID-19 recovery grant revenue allocated for the departments that were noted at the last meeting at 51.5% for the SLRD and 48.5% for the Village of Pemberton. We've noted the 2020 recovery grant in 2020 and the 2021 in the 2021 budgets. And that is all we've updated in this budget between the two, is the interest rates, the utilities, the COVID recovery. I'm just double checking which appendix I updated for this meeting. I can see the screen, but I can't really see Nikki's screen. I have a final updated, but I am not sure if that's the one that you have. Might be my audit one. Ms. Gilmore, do you have the surplus deficit for Cost center 60001 at 86,045.8.
Overall, sorry, where the surplus carry forward?
Yeah,
It looks like it's 67. Oh no, surplus carry forward. Where are we? I only have for the community center or
Yeah.
overall. I have 21,276.
okay, so you have the other budget. Okay. So that is the budget that was previous to allocating the COVID recovery and the management fee in 2020. We noted it in this budget, but I have actually updated it on our final. So maybe we could just point out a few things. The carry forward for, I don't want to be discussing stuff that's a little confusing for you guys, but the carry forward for the community center has been updated due to the change in the $40,000 and the change in the COVID recovery. So for the community center, we added for 2020, in total, we added $72,317 in COVID recovery revenue. And we added the $40,000 of additional management fee. So that less the expenses of the utilities and the expense of, and the revenue for the interest actually gave us a surplus at the end of the year instead of a deficit of 21,000.
And can you just remind us what that new surplus carry forward would be?
So the current one I have is 86,458. So that means the 2021 budget requisition has been updated. I'll forward that as well to, or I'll compare that with what Ms. LaFrance has on her lines. And then we also had some COVID recovery in the youth center. So the COVID recovery that was granted to the youth center for 2020 was 1,583. And then we also had, oh, sorry.
Soccer fields, this is Gates Lake.
It's 60003.
Yeah. So the surplus carry forward before, does it affect that?
So we'll change that slightly. So the surplus carry forward now for the 60003 youth center is 97,944. So those are the only updates we made. We didn't make any updates in the actual budget. We just made those minor updates, but they were discussed at the last meeting, but we had them all showing in the 2021 budget. Now we've actually allocated them in the correct years. So it'll be a surplus carry forward in 2020 and a lower revenue in 2021.
Does that affect the, you said it affected the PCC, so 60001.
Yeah.
It affects the contributions from each of us?
So the contribution, just for the COVID recovery, the contribution will be the same because that was passed previously. Mm-hmm. And we just recognized it in 2021 at the previous budget. And now we're recognizing it in 2020 and 2021, but the value has not changed.
Okay.
So the effect on the requisition for that has not changed. The effect on the requisition that did change is the extra $40,000 management fee, because we did not include that in the previous budget.
Okay.
And also for the small, very, very small amount of interest that was posted, and then the smaller, the utilities that were posted So that is the only thing that will change the requisition value. Are there any discussions about the contribution values or the interest that was posted?
Nope. Do we still need the screen share up? Because I can't see everybody. Can't see who's shaking heads and stuff. There we go. Thank you. So no questions?
No questions.
Okay. Then would somebody like to make a motion to pass the final draft as presented of the budget?
I'll make that motion.
Second by Director Mack. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Director Clark.
Sorry, thanks, Chair. So when you say as presented with those changes that Ms. Martin has identified this morning, and I just wanted to make sure Suzanne didn't have any comments on that. Is that wording okay from your perspective, Ms. LaFrance?
We just have to accept their information.
Okay.
We don't have to, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Because I take it, I massage it into what I need to put into the actual budget.
So we don't need a motion to approve as presented then?
We just accept the information because it's the Village of Pemberton budget. That's not the SLRD's budget,
So
but I use that information. So the resolution usually states when we pass the SLRD budget that it's using the VOP information as presented.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Gilmore.
You may just want to receive the report for information.
Okay, then move receipt by Director Zan, seconded by Director Mack. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Thank you.
And now on to the draft budgets. 6.2, Ms. LaFrance.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Suzanne LaFrance, the Director of Finance at the SLRD, and I'm just going over the previous budgets. The only changes made versus the last time you saw these was the Pemberton Fire Rescue. So there was a surplus carry forward that I have added into this budget, and so it just decreased the requisition amount for the fire rescue as per the Village of Pemberton's information. And the other change was a slight change, minor change to the Pemberton Refuge Grounds, just based on the 2020 actual updates. So I'm constantly updating the budgets, trying to get the surplus carry forward to be exact. And it was just a small change. It's still a small increase of 2.7% for the Pemberton Refuge Grounds. And the next change is the Pemberton TV Society. So the requisition increased just slightly, a little more, based on the 2020 invoices that just came in. And so that requisition is still a decrease over 2020, but it's a minor decrease of 3%, and it's showed at 17,239. The equipment upgrades are not added in at this time. We still haven't received the actual figure. There's just a ballpark figure for replacing all of the equipment that Mark, the chair or the president of the Pemberton TV Society has mentioned. But I don't have an exact amount, and we don't have a split of the TV and radio either for the upgrades. So we're still trying to work at getting more information on exactly what the service needs and dividing it out. So there's options to see if we just want to keep radio, as that has more of an emergency aspect to it versus the TV rebroadcasting. So I just briefly updated the division, as far as we're aware, the TV and radio cost. I just highlighted the contracted services because I was told that they are for mostly the TV, but we still don't have a direct division. This is just an updated version. So it looks like the TV does cost slightly more versus the radio, based on mainly the sports network monthly fees. So the Pemberton Community Center 2106, I've updated that based on the Village of Pemberton's information. And it does include the additional 40,000 in the management fee. So keeping the requisition flat based on the previous PVIS resolution allowed us to build an operational surplus reserve of 48,547. And so this reserve can be used for any kind of operational purposes or even capital. Basically, it's whatever the service needs, and can carry forward, and we can build on it as surpluses are available. And then the Pemberton Museum, we adjusted that requisition to be flat to last year as per the request from PVIS. The Pemberton Museum was pretty concerned, but that's something that we can discuss. I can discuss directly with the chair, as they had plans, obviously, but they might have to adjust their plans. So the next change was the Pemberton Valley Trail Service. I added the 12,000 from General Select for the Gravitron Trail, as per the February board resolution. And there's new projects that are not fully funded at this point that I've updated based on conversations with the Trails Coordinator. So she wanted to keep $1,000 in the Clover Road Extension Trail project, and the rest will be moved to 2022. And the other project remains the same, not funded. It's shown as donation or grants currently in the budget. And so if you go to the page 4, or my page 4, the summary, you'll see overall the percent change is 0% for all of the PVIS budget, 0.8%. So in effect, it actually will be, looking at all of them together, will be a reduction in taxation just based on the assessment changes from 2020 to 2021. And you can see that in the first 3 columns, 2021 tax rate and the change. And then I'll just open it up for any questions.
Thanks, Ms. LaFrance. Any questions? Questions at all? I mean, a couple thoughts. One consideration that we've talked about before. I'm glad to see us, put that surplus into the rec center or the recreation service. And I guess, again, as discussed in the past, I'd like staff to maybe, Christine, Nikki, when we have a sense whether or not we're going to be able to have any grants available for finishing the basketball court. When we get a sense of that, and if not, then we can maybe consider looking at some of those funds to finish that project so it doesn't get carried over year over year. Go ahead.
I think we'll have a bit of an update on that project at the April 8th PVIS meeting. So we might have some more information to share at that time on funding as well.
Good. Well, it's nice to see that surplus in there. No other questions? All right. Then I guess we're looking for a motion to have the PVIS recommend to the board adoption. Is that how you want that phrased, Mr. Frost?
Yeah, you can state that they're approved and
So
Kristen knows the wording, actually. We can use the same wording we've been using.
Thank you. I'm going to propose that we the recommendation to the board is that all of these budgets are approved as presented, except for the two budgets. So I think that would be 2106 and 2106C with the bill to incorporate the information provided by the Village of Pemberton today.
Okay.
Suzanne, had you already included those adjustments in your budget?
Yeah, so I already adjusted for the changes in the COVID grant and the surplus and things like that. But I'll obviously do another test today. It has to be done today, so last minute, of course. But just to make sure that it all is based on what the Village of Pemberton has. Lena, can you forward me that new budget spreadsheet? I don't think I have
Sure.
the final.
We can just chat after this meeting and just double check our numbers.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Thanks, Chair. Ms. LaFrance mentioned the recovery grant, but the $40,000 management fund or $40,000 management fee.
Yeah, that's added into the
That's already in.
2021 management fee.
Okay, so we don't need to add that wording about the information presented by the Village of Pemberton today, correct? It's just approve the budgets as presented.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Motion to approve the budgets, final draft as presented, Director Mack, seconded by Director Zant. Any further discussion? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Mr. France. Thanks for squeezing it in. Sorry, it's also last minute for you. Anything else on budget? I don't think so. So decision on late business, the late business, I don't know if I've mentioned it at this table. I've had a couple conversations with Amanda Walker. She's the literacy outreach coordinator for Capilano College, and she works out at Cizille normally. I think many of you would know her. And she has, and I'm just going to pull up her text because I just got it last night. We have taken a couple walks on the Friendship Trail, and what she's proposing is to tell a bit of a story, a cultural story on Mount Currie, Cizille, and its actual traditional name. And so, yeah, a little bit of Ukamuch, a little bit of Lillooet history and history on Mount Currie, on Cizille. So we walked a couple areas that she'd be interested in putting that up. She's been working with her committee. They've given her a $3,000 budget. That'll include the storytellers, the knowledge keepers, the honorarium for the elders, graphic design, and the printing. What she was looking to us for, and I thought PDF would be the right spot, would be to build a frame for it. She doesn't have a quote on it, and it was also kind of dependent on how much she wanted to spend. We talked, the number thrown out was $2,000 to be able to build a proper frame for the signage. So I don't know how it works, Kristen. Like, I don't have an official request at this point. I just let me just ask and see if the committee is all game or has any questions on that. And do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Just a comment, Mayor Richmond.
Go ahead.
I think it's a great idea. I'd support that. I think it's fantastic that we can bring that community along the Friendship Trail and tell their story. I would support that for sure.
Cool. Russell?
Yeah, I support it too. I think it's very good.
And Jan, you good with that?
Yeah, I support it. I'm just like the cost of a frame, like how big is it going to be? Like, a big, huge,
I think
like sort of like Parks Canada kind of information, or?
She was comparing it to some of the stuff we have near 1 Mile, signage
Right.
there. So she doesn't have, I don't have a size. Like I say, this is just sort of coming in as we speak. I just wanted to be able to have a conversation here to give her the green light.
Yeah.
But I think she's talking, Jan, something probably like 3 by 3 or maybe a little bit bigger.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the board itself would be 3 by 3 and the frame would be bigger than that.
Yeah. And it would all have to be professionally printed and signed up and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's got 3,000 for all that, for the gathering of the information, going through the knowledge keepers
Right.
to make sure that it's appropriate, and then the graphic design and the printing. So they've got a budget for that. For us, we'd be looking at building a frame for it.
Maybe one of their people would like to, carve a frame or something.
I'm sure she'll work through the community there.
Yeah.
With somebody
Can I
else.
just ask a question? Is there a fair proportion of Indigenous mountain bikers and trail walkers and so on? Or
I'm on it quite a bit. I definitely see, Lillooet members on the trail. Not as much as I'd like. And I think once we finish the link through the industrial park, and I'm hopeful that it'll go right to their new development, Lillooet's new development on Main Street. The old blue buildings, Jan, where when you turn the corner, the old blue buildings on the left side, they used to be there. Those are gone now, and there's a proposal for an application to build some affordable housing with some commercial downstairs. I think it was 2 or 3 buildings, I can't remember. And there was mention of bringing the trail right to there. So it'll be downtown Mount Currie, link it right up, and hopefully it'll just make it that much more viable.
that's very good. Yeah.
So, Kristen, how would you recommend we go ahead?
Thanks, Chair. When I look at page 23 of the agenda, it looks like there's $4,466 in the well, no, that's not,
Yeah,
the
that
other
one doesn't exist anymore, right?
Right. So I'm not sure what we have in this, what we have available. Do you know, Ms. Gilmore?
It looks like the Arts, Culture and Recreation Grant. So balance not spent or committed, not including future years. What is this? Oh, so is that 36? Oh, 84,000?
No. Unspent?
Yeah, well, look on page 24. So we have allocations but not yet paid. So sorry, 48,000. Balance not 36,000. I'm just trying to read this on. So I think it's maybe 36.
Which report is it? Oh, there it is. I see.
Yeah, on page 24. So this is the snapshot of where we're at. But regardless, they're going to need to make application and do a presentation, and then it needs to come back officially to get supported by the committee. That's how the PDIF works.
So we
And they'll have an
can't
agreement.
make a motion to support up to $2,000 towards this project or whatever.
No, because we've created a new policy and a way to actually access the funds, which was through the PDIF policy, I guess.
So I guess what I could do then is tell her there's agreement in principle, having had the conversation at the committee table, and that she'll have to give us a formal application on April 8th if possible.
I think that's probably the best approach.
Okay.
So I would recommend perhaps something like that the PVIS committee is supportive of this application and in supportive of the concept and awaits the submission of the formal application. Is that satisfactory?
I think that works. Is that good for everybody? Somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second by Russell. Any discussion? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Awesome. Thank you for that.
And could I just clarify? I do believe that there's 36,000 left in that fund. Just based on
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. Director's notice of motion. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Half an hour on the nose. Seconded by Director Kennett. All in favor, we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.